Welcome to Journey with Josh. I'm Josh Ubaldi, and we're taking you on a journey of a lifetime into marketing and advertising. Together, we'll solve every mystery about marketing you've ever come across so you can get all the leads and sales you want, and best of all, how to grow a business you truly love. Welcome to Marketing Therapist. This is the Journey with Josh Agony Uncle segment where I get to answer your questions. And I'm so excited about this because this is designed to consistently just move aside all the obstacles in your business so that you have a lot more momentum. And this is just one segment of the Journey with Josh podcast, of course. If you don't know me, I'm Josh Ubaldi, but I want to just spend this time answering your questions and giving you the chance to tell me what you need the most help with. And we are answering questions very specifically about online advertising, about online marketing, and also especially if you have a launch model. Everything I do in my business is really tightly focused to people who launch courses and retreats and group programs and coaching packages and all sorts of things. And sure, we help out authors build their platform or people sell e-commerce things as a stream, not a main thing, right? Plenty of other people are happy to advertise e-commerce. It's not my favorite thing because it's kind of dull. But at the end of the day, right, we really help people launch and make sense of the investment in their launch and the ROI of their launch and all of those things. So if you have questions about launching or online advertising or marketing, please keep sending them my way. We're going to answer those questions here and now, rough and dirty. Now, I actually have to start with a disclaimer to say, this is called Marketing Therapist, but I am not a therapist. I am not a trained therapist. I am not a clinical therapist. I am not a certified public therapist. So why am I calling it Marketing Therapist? Because I have very kindly, I'm going to say kindly in the past, been called a marketing therapist on multiple occasions because I have been able to help people move past some of these things. And I want to be able to give you that experience too, so that you can just move aside all the frustration and struggle, what I consider the 3 T's of confusion, frustration, and overwhelm, right? The pull out your hair experiences and keep you moving. So yes, while we have the disclaimer that I am not a technical therapist, I can possibly still be your marketing therapist in terms of all of these elements that you're trying to move through. So this is an agony uncle experience. I am going to answer your questions. We're going to dive right in today. And by the way, I'm going to start with some quote unquote, I'm going to say quote unquote simpler questions. And as we go the different segments and deliver more Q&A for you specifically, I'm definitely going to quickly dive into some advanced questions. And you're going to find that there's like a really big continuum in between. For some people, they're going to hear simple questions and be like, oh, maybe there's more to it than that. And other people are going to hear advanced things and say, oh, maybe I can boil this stuff down to really simple things. And that's really the truth of it, which is why I want to be able to give you this space to ask questions. And first off, no overly simple questions, certainly no stupid questions ever, because if there is something that is stopping you and it's holding you back for an hour or a week or a month, or in my case, years, I want you to shove that stuff aside and keep moving forward so that you have this direct connection through your marketing to your audience. At the end of the day, we'll talk more about this in different places, but I have been throughout the start of my career, I have been such a technophobe. And I don't mean techno like boom, 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 right? Let's dance. I'm not afraid of that. Like technology has been something that has been felt at arm's distance by me. It's always something new and oftentimes something scary. We're gonna move that stuff aside. All right, so let's start with our 3 questions for today. Everybody who sent me questions for this first round, I really, really appreciate it. And let's see how simply we can answer some of these questions for you. So this one is from Di. Hi, Di. Thanks so much for your question in advance. Di says, I want to get off the social posting treadmill. Amen. What do you think is the most easiest way to do this? And can better ads replace all the posting? I love this question. And I think while it can seem to maybe some people like a very simple question, there's a lot of elements to this. So let's try to give you the simplest and most direct answer, and then maybe add a couple advanced pro tips or elements on top of this. So first off, getting off the social posting treadmill, right? If you want to get off, if you feel like you're on a treadmill for social posts and you want to get off, please do. Please outsource it. Let somebody else do it if they can do it truly in your voice. Let that happen. But what do you think is the easiest way to do this? Yes. The easiest way to do this, first off, to get off the treadmill, is to still create consistency. So I want to start there. It's really important for advertising if you're going to move in that direction. And even if you're not, it's really important to have consistency with your posting. So you don't need to be posting once, 10 times, 5 times a day. You don't even need to be posting, well, let's say this. You need to post with consistency. You can choose to post once a day, 7 times a week. You can choose to post 5 times a week, once every workday if you're working 5 days a week. You can post consistently 3 times a week if it's 3 times a week, right? You don't need to go crazy with the posting. So whatever is making you feel like you're on the treadmill, you can get off the treadmill. I want to really emphasize that. You can get off the treadmill. There's no reason for you to be stuck on the treadmill. Now, the main way to create consistency that I have always found easy is the batch experience, the batch creation experience. So what does this mean if you're not doing it already? This means you can create, for example, you can create all of your January posts, whether it's 5 posts a week, 7 posts a week, 3 posts a week, right? You can create all of those posts the last week of December. Right? So you sit down, you spend 2 days over a week or maybe a day, and it gets shorter and shorter over time. Maybe you spend 2 to 4 hours or something on a Saturday at the last week of December, and you create all of your posts for January and you upload them into a tool that will deliver them on your schedule. If it's something like Facebook or Instagram, we have the Creator Studio where you can upload that type of stuff and it sends it out when you ask it to. You can schedule it. There's other tools that allow you to do that. But you get to batch create everything and then you're good for a month. And you get to do that 12 times a year to take care of 365 days. What a relief. So that should immediately get you off the treadmill, if that treadmill is essentially what you're experiencing, something like that. Consistency is the most important thing. Now, the final question is really a really interesting one, which is why I was glad to make sure I answered this question first, which is to say, can better ads replace all the posting? Here's what I have found. So a bunch of years ago, certainly when I started, at the end of the day, right, you used to be able to have an experience where your organic posts and your advertising had more things in common and were kind of aligned. It was great that you could do something organic and get a lot of social proof and reactions, and then you could take that post and you could advertise that post. It would make such a difference. And now the algorithms of these social channels have changed. As a reminder, if you're like, oh, what's an algorithm? What are you talking about? Right? Every channel, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, X, LinkedIn, right? Any of these channels, they're all run by algorithms, the programs that make them unique, the programs that allow how the information's getting shared out there socially, right? There's all of these settings that we are not privy to because it's their proprietary experience. I want to really cut to the chase here. We have all of these tools to use. You have these tools to use. Your ideal situation is to know how it works really well, figure out the system it works with, and make the absolute most of that system. But never forget, this tool, all of these tools, each of these things are their own businesses. They are all publicly traded on the stock market. They want to make a profit and let their shareholders get profitable off of these tools and the growth. And the growth, of course, is money coming in. So almost across the board, all of these tools have limited organic reach. I had a friend once who grew her Facebook page to 750,000 people, and then she worked really hard and she got it over a million people organically. Those days has passed, right? That doesn't happen anymore. So the question is, can better ads replace all the posting? At this point in time, I say yes, because that's the experience I have with so many different clients and so many different industries and businesses, that if you want to reach new people, you want to get new leads, you want to build your list, you want to find new prospects to make your offers to and get to know and like and trust you, right? You can do that more cost effectively and more directly. Not posting on a treadmill. Oh my God, I'm posting and no one's even seeing them. I can see the system is saying I'm not getting any shows here. At the end of the day, just take that off the table, remove the stress and pressure, and strategically put advertising out there and get people on your list and get people to pay attention to you and do ads for people to see you on video and get to know, like, and trust you, maybe be even before they get onto your list. And you pre-qualify them to say, yes, I'm right for your business. You as a business owner get to get people ready. So absolutely, 100% better ads can replace the crazy posting. However, you do want to post consistently. And here's that real pro tip that I want to make sure I don't forget to share and don't miss sharing for you, which is, if you are a consistent poster organically, for the same amount of money you're spending on ads, the system will show your ads to more people. So what does that technically mean? If you're spending $10 a day, and you may be spending $1 a day or $100 or $1,000 a day, but let's say you're spending $10 a day. If you are not posting consistently, right? You have a page that's ignored, your audience is ignored, the system knows that, right? And for the $10 a day that you're going to start up, it's going to show your ad to 10 people. If you have an engaged page, or a page where at the very least, you are consistently posting and putting love into that page, for that same $10, instead of showing that to 10 people, and the real number would be closer to 100 people or 1,000 people, but right, for the same $10, it's not going to show it to 10 people. It's going to show it to 150 to 300 people. Isn't that amazing? And that's these little tricks of the trade that you want to make sure you understand so you can tap into it. I don't want you wasting, right, any part of your penny, nickel, dime, quarter, or dollars. I don't want you wasting even a bit of that to make that happen. Hey, it's Josh here. Are you finally ready for advertising that works every single time? If so, then download the 3 T's of great advertising right now. We're going to give you our simple 3-step system that quite literally works every time for ads that do the job time and again. And as well, we're also going to give you the 7 marketing must-haves. These are the main principles so you can get the absolute most out of your investment in any type of Facebook and Instagram ads and beyond. Don't hesitate. Let's get started today and make this super simple. It's certainly not rocket science, and there's no smoke and mirrors. Download it today at www.goldenringmarketing.com/get started. One more time, that's www.goldenringmarketing.com/get started. And we'll see ya on the other side. All right, so Di, thank you so much for your question, and 100% get off the treadmill. At the very least, start to consider outsourcing all of that stuff and put your focus and attention into the higher value content creation or engagement with your audience to get way more out of your business experience. Fantastic. All right, so question number 2 is from Jeanne. Now, it could be Jeanne, it could be Jeannie. I had a really good friend in college who was half French, and he had a French friend who was called Jeanne, like Jeanne Moreau. Merci Jeanne, salut Jeanne. So whether you are Jeannie, Jean, or Jan, let's dive into this. Thank you so much for your question. So I'm going to say Jeanne for now. Actually, Jeannie sounds fun. Let's stick with Jeannie. You're going to know this is you from your question, if in case it's Jeannie or Jean or Jeanne. So Jeannie, Is it better to use JPEGs or videos for ads for the first time? I've got great videos I want to use, but I heard you say that images work better. Okay, such a good question. Now, also, I don't think this is too simple a question by any means, so consider this. What this is really boiling down to, right? So Jeannie is asking about JPEGs, but really what that means, if you happen to hear this or watch this and you're thinking, what's a JPEG again, right? Is it better to use images or videos for your first ads that you're putting out there? And this is a great question, and it does make a big difference, actually. So Jeannie says, Jeanne, merci. Okay, I've got great videos I want to use, so let's start there. If you have content that you love, that you're excited about, that has a true connected energy to it, and you're like, this is good and this is going to connect me to my audience, that is the right place to start with, 100%. So if you got the videos, start with the videos and feel good about it and keep that level high, because the energy of your advertising will never not be important. I can't say that enough. And for all the technical people who are like, I just need to understand the mechanics of the ads, right? There is always an energy there that will connect you deeply to your audience. So if you have content you're thrilled about, or I have the best images, or I have this or that, start there. That is the perfect place to start. Now, but the second piece of this is, I heard you say that images work better. Indeed. So if I'm saying use the videos, do images work better? Here's the deal. The deal, in fact, is, and it's really an important distinction I'm really excited to kind of simplify, which is to say, when you're really starting to feel confident and super clear about the nuances of advertising and why some things work and some things just keep not working, right? Marketing consistently is really proven, right? You are going to always serve yourself and your business best by learning the rules, so you can break them at will, but you can always go back to the rules as a touchstone. Well, this isn't working. Let me go back to basics. This isn't working. Let me go back to basics, right? You want to be able to go back to basics. One of these basics always comes down to the mental triggers or psychological triggers. These triggers effectively are the things that motivate people to do things. And one of the basic ones, which is why it answers this question of images or videos, is called what's in it for me. Now, this gets shortened. I always shorten it to WIIFM. WIIFM, what's in it for me? Not rocket science here, right? And that is to say, if people have not been introduced to you yet, right? So they don't know you. They don't know your brand. They don't know your business. They don't know your offers. They don't know your sales. They don't know you yet. They haven't gotten that first ad to say, hey, I'd like you to know about me and I'd like to introduce myself and I want to get to know about you, right? As a business, right? So ultimately, when people are in this space where they don't know you yet, they're sitting in a place of what's in it for me. They don't know what to expect of you yet. And they are still taking care of themselves, right? They're still trying to make sense of what's important for them. And a key piece of this is, oftentimes for people in this starter place, this introductory shake my hand place is, well, I don't want to spend time with you on video, right? I want to actually just get maybe what's in it for me first. Do I know if this is right for me? And oftentimes that's still translated in the form of an image or a JPEG or a PNG. I don't know if you say Pong or Ping. I'm not that techie, right? I'm really good with my type of tech and what I do for people. But I'm not a crazy tech, I don't know everything about tech. You don't need to. That's the huge thing. But whether it's an image, JPEG, PNG file, right? If you start there, it is a lower barrier than asking someone who doesn't know you to spend time with you and watch you. Could that still work? 100%. You want to test it out. You 100% want to test it out. However, if you give somebody a clear image where they can relate and they can say, oh, this is what I'm looking for. This is something that I need. It's so well targeted that it's like, oh, I'm interested in that. I need help with this. I need something for my life, business, or relationships. And this person seems to have some solution. Let me now just read on, right? Don't forget, the goal of great ads all the time is to get someone to take the next step. You want somebody to see the ad and see the image and then want to read the text, the headline, the text above the image, depending on where they're seeing it. You want them to see a video and want to say, that's interesting. I'll watch more of this video, or I'll click to see more and read more about it. And then I'll click through and I'll go to the page where I can become a lead or learn more, all of these things. Great ads are to just get people to take the next step that keeps them wanting to take the next step all the way till they get on your customer journey and become the sale, right? It's always going to get boiled down to that simple journey experience. So the key here is, if you're kind of on the fence and you're like, well, unlike Jeannie here, I don't have videos that I'm so thrilled about that I want to start with video. Good, then take the pressure off yourself, start with images. And believe me, a lot of people I work with are introverts, very sensitive people who are very energy conscious, people who are very creative and doing a lot of other things. They don't want to be creating videos all day long, or they're not even interested in creating videos until they have to. That's okay. You can get there. You don't need to start there. Start with simple images at the end of the day. One thing that I do want to say, which is truly now like the advanced section of this and like the big pro tip, which is, even if you have videos that you love, like you do, Jeannie, and you want to start with that, never ever, I never want to see anybody just running one ad, right? If you're like, this is the best video, I'm going to start with this video. You can start with that video, but I very much want to make sure that you are able to ultimately test out different content, even if it's with just starting with one video. And if you are not aware of that, I want you to use the 3T process, which is targeting, testing, and tracking, these 3 T's that literally make ads work every time. It doesn't mean that your ultimate result is going to be immediately taken care of and completed every time, but your ads will work every time. And I want you to never miss the testing element, where you're putting variations of things out there and letting your audience tell you what they love. That's the most important element. So I will reiterate this at the end, and I will put the link for that in the show notes so you can actually go there and you can get that little training module to figure out the 3 T's. That's the most important thing. That's the thing that's going to get you to the next level. And if you have video content to start with, always start there. All right. Third and final question for today is from Paul. Now, perhaps Paul, if we're staying in this French zone of Jeanne, like Jeanne Moreau, and Paul. Merci, Paul. Okay, so Paul, thanks so much for your question. Paul says, I want to make a video ad. What's the best, fast and dirty approach to get my video out there? It's not really getting any shows on Facebook, just 1 or 2 a lot. And I'm going to assume that the 1 or 2 is just maybe 1 or 2 shows or 1 or 2 views or something like that. So you want to make a video ad. Great. So it's not getting any shows on Facebook, right? You clearly have a video and you've put it out organically and Facebook isn't showing it, right? So that's the gist that I'm kind of putting together here. So you got a video that you're starting with, and now you want to fast and dirty. You want the approach to put your video out there. Okay, so we're not creating new videos here. You're going to plan to use something that you have already. This is a really great question. So the fast and dirty approach, right? There may be a bunch of people who immediately are listening to this thinking, well, just boost the post, right? You can always boost a post. If it's on Facebook, you can boost it. If it's on Instagram, you can do that version of boosting it, and you could just get something out there. Here's the key. I want to make sure that you, just like I started to tell Jeannie, that you start to use this 3T system of targeting, testing, and tracking. If you do the 3 T's, you will start to create ads that work truly every time. The ads themselves will start working. They will start getting traction really fast and build up momentum really quickly. But the real important thing here is you get to manage the investment. And that's what we're talking about ultimately, right? In my world of doing ads for other people, while it is about getting nice results for them, ultimately, we never leave this foundation of focusing on the ROI and focusing on the investment to get these ads out there, to get more people to see these ads. And that is really what we're looking at consistently as I take a sip. Thanks for that. So that the fast and dirty approach, I'm going to say is your 3T experience. And most people, right? So in my world, I 100% get a lot of questions of people who essentially start off, and especially for clients are kind of going deeper faster. They're maybe not as surprised by other things, but students especially, right? A lot of people are asking me, oh, well, I want to run a video ad and my targeting is like this, right? It's kind of like for them, there's these two major elements. Here, you make it happen now. And it doesn't seem to work that way anymore. If it used to work a little more like that, things have changed to such a degree in the past few years and all these different tech and changes so that it works a little different. So where we might want to just put a video ad out there, ultimately, the targeting will be the first place that you're going to start. Most people in my world, most people, until they kind of feel really confident and clear about how this is working, most people will say consistently, the ad success is just about the targeting. I know that it's no longer really about that though. I really know at this point that targeting is never going to be the reason something's fully not working. Targeting may be an element of it, and targeting can always be improved and honed and clarified, but it's never the reason something's really not going to work. At the end of the day, the targeting is the starting place when you're working on creating ad content. But then we can never then stop at the targeting without doing the testing, right? Like I was starting to say to Jeannie, Jeanne, right? Thanks again, Jeannie, for letting me play with your name. I really appreciate it because it's really fun. But as I was saying, right, testing is a new element for a lot of people. It's putting variations of things out there and letting your audience tell you what they prefer, right? All the opinions in the world don't really matter if your audience doesn't say it with their dollars and cents. And testing is really where you get to manage your budget and get the most out of your budget. And then we never want to ever miss talking about this final T, which is tracking. If you don't know what the real results are, what you're putting out there, it's just gambling, right? I don't live that far from Vegas. I love to go to Bellagio and have some martinis and find the Willy Wonka machine. And I love kind of giving the machine 20, 50 bucks, sometimes all the rest of it. But I'm never giving the machine hundreds or thousands of dollars, right? And especially I definitely have, I don't know that I'm cynical. I guess I'm cynical, right? I don't know that, I think this is now a digital machine. It's not a machine like that. Like, how could it not be manipulated in 1,000 ways? People still win. I've won before, right? It can always work in someone's favor. But I don't want you gambling with your investment for advertising. It's your business. I want you to make the most of every single penny, nickel, dime, quarter, dollar. And you know what that means because you understand tracking as well. So go there, get the 3 T's, see how each one works, and go deeper there. That is going to be the true fast and dirty way because it's going to move you fastest right now and the long term. And in terms of dirty, it's going to mean you can get dirty in a creative way, but it's never going to get messy. It's never going to get like that, that drunk person messy type of thing where all of a sudden it's like everything fell apart, right? Because you will always manage your investment, your ad spend, your money, right? And we want to make sure that always stays the case. So, Paul, thank you so much for your question. To all of you, to Di, Jeannie, Jeanne, and Paul, thanks for your questions in this first one. If you have questions and you would like your question answered, next segment we do this, I'm going to kind of dive into some more advanced questions. We'll see if you find them advanced, but ultimately, these little distinctions and these little differences, they make night and day difference. And when you're investing money instead of giving it away to the man, right? I want to make sure that you feel the best about getting the absolute most out of your investment overall. So I'll see you next time. And by all means, in Spotify, answer that question and tell me what you would have questions about online advertising, marketing, or even launching specifically. We'll talk about launching next time, perhaps a little bit. And then separately even, right? Feel free. You can always find us on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, of course. And then you can also find us on goldenringmarketing.com. And you can also get that 3T breakdown experience for ads that literally always work, even if you don't always get the ultimate result, which is www.goldenringmarketing.com/get started. And one more time, that is www.com. You need the W's. www.goldenringmarketing.com/get started. And you can start there and go forward from there. I thank you for your questions. I look forward to answering more of your questions. And thanks so much for joining me here inside Marketing Therapist.